Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm John Dykes, and although I'm joined by Lawrence Connolly and Paul Sheridan, the first thing we're going to do after that historic victory, Paul, is we're going to have a wee sing-song. So, you brought your guitar along. Many of our viewers will know Paul from the Wakes, who have so many songs to choose from. What's the first one you're going to play to us today, Paul?
Well, since it's a Celtic occasion today, we start with a song called 67 in the Heat of Lisbon. It's been some time since we've all been in the stadium, but listening to that song, the fans, it just brings the hairs in the back of your neck, the achievements of the Lions. As Hugh McIlvenney said, in 1967 in Lisbon, a homebred Glasgow team utterly outplayed Inter Milan. Poof, the Lisbon Lions, 67, the Heat of Lisbon. Well, we walked into the Lisbon sun, and into thought they had it won. But we showed the world how to play, and now it's known as the Celtic way. They played the ball from side to side, and into they tried to hide. But we played the ball from front to back. Attack, 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 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to see the boys become champions. 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to see the boys become champions. Well, we walked into the Lisbon sun, and into thought they had it won. But we showed the world how to play, and now it's known as the Celtic way. They play the ball from side to side, and into they trying to hide. But we played the ball from front to back. Attack, 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 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to see the boys become champions. 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to see the boys become champions. Attack, 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 attack. 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to see the boys become champions. 67. In the heat of Lisbon, the fans came in their thousands to see the boys become champions. Oh, 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 we're Glasgow Celtic. Oh, 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 we're Glasgow Celtic.
Superb, Paul. We've just witnessed Celtic qualifying for the Scottish Cup final. This could be part of a historic quadruple treble. Lawrence, has been loads said over the last few weeks about the wheels coming off the bus. A lot of criticism flying about for Celtic and Neil Lennon. When you look at that 90 minutes, the 95 minutes that we've just enjoyed, what's your thoughts at this moment in time going forward this season?
Great to see them playing like that, playing like a team again. You know, there's no reason we couldn't go from now to the end of the season and win every domestic game. You know, we've got the personnel, we've got some boys, you know, coming back from injury. Magic Tom, 2 assists, second game in a row. You know, Blenny seems to have found, you know, his team. Yeah, it's just brilliant again, isn't it? 35th cup win in a row. And Big Craig is going to get a winners and a runners-up medal in the Scottish Cup final no matter what.
Absolutely. Now, to be fair, you came to the studio a few weeks back, Lawrence. You brought along Danny Kelly. It was great to get a wee sing-song, a few tunes after the game. And today, of all days, we do have Paul Sheridan in the studio of the Wakes. The first song was tremendous. Loads of great comments coming in, Paul. What's the second track you're going to play us?
The next one is a song that we wrote a few years ago to raise money for the Jimmy Johnstone statue in View Park. And, you know, Jimmy was just a hero of mine as a wee boy growing up, and you know, it would seem as an older man going about in Uddingston, and just a real legend. And this is a song called Uncrowned King of Football. And you know, I took my wee girl up to the statue a few weeks ago, just on a walk, and every time Celtic have been playing ever since, she's been asking, is Jimmy Johnstone playing today? But,
magical.
Tremendous. So this is a song called Uncrowned King of Football.
Jumpers for goalposts in the town of Uddingston, ripping apart Real Madrid in the Bernabeu Stadium. Only 5'4", but a giant of a man. Frankie called him the JJ man. Frankie called him the JJ man. The lord of the wing and the master of his art, the uncrowned king of football, was a wee man from View Park. He was better than the best, and Georgie knew it too. And they called him the JJ man. They called him the JJ man. Do you believe that a man could fly? The loudest roar in the lion's sight. Though he's gone, all the legends never die. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. For the European Cup, Jock's Lions they did play against Inter Milan on the 25th of May, and we wanted playing football the Glasgow Celtic way. John, you're immortal now. John, you're immortal now. Celtic Park erupted when the wee man got the ball. In the jungle, boys, we made such noise, the world looked on in awe at our greatest ever player and the pride of Birkinshaw. And the whole world knew you, and we still love you. Do you believe that a land could fly? The loudest roar and the lion's sign. Though he's gone, all the legends never die. That's a JJ man. That's a JJ man. Do you believe that a man could fly? The loudest roar and the lion's sign. He's gone, all the legends never die. It's a JJ man. It's a JJ man. It's a JJ man. Hail, hail the JJ man.
Cheers. What do we miss about going to the games, Lawrence?
Beer, songs, you know, just watching it with
just that post-match experience.
Yeah, totally. It's missing, isn't it? It's a cultural thing, isn't it?
It definitely is. A big part of that. It always has been about following Celtic. It's been about the songs, you know. Be that going through in the supporters' buses or in the boozers afterwards. It's about the songs. And for Paul to come in this afternoon and share his songs with us, it's absolutely tremendous. I mean, Jimmy Johnstone, the greatest ever Celt. When you're looking at these monuments to people like Jimmy Johnstone, Paul, I mean, it's so fitting that they've started doing it round about the stadium. I remember going back in the day, there was nothing like that to see outside Celtic Park. It's great that we are celebrating our icons now, yeah?
Yeah, tremendous. I remember whenever the Celtic started to put up the statues, and that's the permanence of the statues that are there now. There's also tremendous pride of seeing it out in View Park where Jimmy's from.
Yeah.
I remember writing a song, and it was Frankie Miller. There's a guy that calls him the JJ Man, because Frankie Miller writes the song the JJ Man. People thought it was something Frank McAvenny, but it's tremendous to see like the statues of Big Jock and Billy, and hopefully they can also bring the statue of Billy McNeil to realisation in Bells Hill too. But you know, Parkhead is a changed arena in terms of the exterior when you see everything, and it's wonderful to see these icons really cemented there forever.
I'm delighted you mentioned Frankie Miller, a very, very talented, special man. And I remember the film that he did, the one and only film, Just a Boys Game. It was on a couple of weeks back.
That's right.
He was unbelievable in that film, but it was the only role that he ever took. I mean, he was offered loads after that because he was so good. But when you're thinking of Frankie Miller again, a superb lost talent, because obviously what he's been through as well, Paul, but he left us with some incredible songs, some incredible moments.
Tremendous. That's one of my favourite films as well. It was on there 2 nights ago as well. I was watching it. Anytime it's on, it's got to be followed right through. McQuillan, your tease it.
The dialogue all the way through, it's tremendous. It's quite incredible. And strange things happen in the world of Celtic, but when we were making the Nearly Mocking documentary, and we've mentioned Nearly a couple of times, the director of that film was telling me that his dad was an actor, and I'd done the usual, went home, checked online Campbell Morrison, and he shared a scene with Frankie Miller in that film. So I found that out when we were making the Nearly Mocking doc, that the director's old fella had actually shared the scene with Frankie. Unbelievable. Before we talk any football, Paul, you're going to give us a third tune?
I'm going to go for a song called The Ballad of Johnny Thomson. When I was a wee boy, my mum would put me to bed and she'd be singing a wee song, and it would be, you know, Que Sera Sera or something along those lines. My dad put me to bed. It was The Ballad of Johnny Thomson. That was a lullaby when I was a wee 2-year-old. So before I even really knew about Celtic, I knew The Ballad of Johnny Thomson. Before I could probably know most things in the world, that was a song I always remembered. So we recorded it a few years ago, and it's just a tragic tale, but it's part of the Celtic fairy tale, I suppose. In some respects, it's the part of the ethos and the history of the club. I know he was born so far before our time. He's a player who's remembered and sadly, tragically cut a lost life far too early.
Well, a young man named John Thomson, from the West of Fife he came to play for Glasgow Celtic and to build himself a name. On the 5th day of September, against the Rangers club he played. From defeat he saved the Celtic, but what a price he paid. Well, the ball rolls on centre too, but John runs out and dies. The ball rolls by, but John lies still. For this club, this hero died. Well, the fans all are silent as they travel near and far. No more will cheer John Thomson, that bright and shining star. So play up Glasgow Celtic, stand up and play the game. For in your goal a spirit stands, Johnny Thomson is his name. I took a trip to Parkhead, to the dear old paradise, and as the players came out, sure the tears fell from my eyes. For a famous face was missing from the green and white brigade, and they told me Johnny Thomson, his last game he had played. Farewell, my darling Johnny, Prince of players, we must part. No more we stand and cheer you on the slopes of Celtic Park. No more we stand and cheer you on the slopes of Celtic Park.
Thank you.
Outstanding, Paul. Outstanding. Now on a Celtic State of Mind after a historic victory, because that is exactly what it is, Lawrence. We've got Paul Sheridan of the Wakes giving us a wee taste of what we probably would enjoy if we had been at the game. So let's talk a wee bit about the game, Paul. Thank you very much. That was outstanding. A wee bit about the game. Quite happy with the overall performance.
Ecstatic. 2-0, clean sheet. Tom's, another two assists, 35 cup wins in a trot. It's unbelievable stuff. Another treble, still in the goal. Could be 4 trebles in a row. Today all it mattered was getting the result, keeping the cup one going. But I think we got a result and a performance today.
When you look at the performance, you mentioned Tom Rogic. Or someone like him who just a matter of weeks ago, Lawrence, wasn't quoted as getting a jersey in the first team. He's coming in and he's making such an impact. But as I was saying at half time, for any opposition side, any manager looking at the creative flair of that Celtic side, not just in the forward line, but also like Salt and Frimpong coming up the wings, it's going to be frightening. It looks as though, it seems as though this might just have clicked into place.
Yeah, if you've got that 3, Moy, Rogic, Christie, behind Eddie, all 3 of them can interchange positions at will. So for the opposition to pick them up is going to be really difficult. The creative players, as you touched on, they're great with their feet. Tom can pick a pass, can't he? Ryan will take on the high risk shots. What a finish that was! The movement he got on that ball, up and down, keepers no chance. And what Christie's, what he's making Frimpong a better player, isn't he? Just the way he's tracking back, the amount of energy Ryan puts into a game. And Laxalt and Moy, they seem to be striking up a similar partnership on the left. So you're now starting to see as operating as a team and as a unit, you can see what's happening on the left of the pitch, what's happening on the right. We're working well together, which I think a few people have said when it clicks it's going to be good. Well, it looks like it's starting to click now.
Paul, see, when you look at the performances in the last few games of El Yunusi, a player who we all knew his quality when he came in last season, and I think everybody was delighted when we got him back in for season 2 under the loan deal. Do you think Salt's playing a big part in the improved performance of El Yunusi?
I think so. Laxalt also offers so much creativity down the flanks. Sometimes it looks like a promising partnership at this stage in time. I think that Elyounoussi has needed a wee bit of confidence during the week. He really had a tremendous game. I think one of the best games I've seen him play in Celtic colours, and I think that it's that you need 2 or 3 games like this. So if they can get a wee run together, if they can create a partnership, then you would like to think that this is going to be the making of Elyounoussi this season, because he has gone off form at the start of the season. We know what he's capable of doing, but it's not always about the player. It's sometimes about the people around him as well that he can bounce off and generate confidence from. So yeah, I really hope that's good. And the other thing to think about is whenever Forrest comes back as well, that we're still missing another player too. That also adds width and adds opportunities for us. So yeah, I think Elyounoussi is really going to bounce off Laxalt as going forward.
Now, Lawrence, there's loads of talking points, and one of those would have been the re-emergence of Near Beaton after his injury and his illness, to come in and replace Ayer alongside Shane Duffy, who's come in for some criticism. Let's talk about the central defensive partnership. I mean, Ayer's out at the moment. Julien won't be back until after the next international break. Were you quite pleased with the performances of Duffy and Near Beaton?
A couple of slack balls for both of them. I think Beaton went to sleep a wee bit once, but yeah, they're cracking players. Beaton, he always steps up to the mark for us. He can score goals, he can find a pass. He just brings a calming influence, doesn't he? Shane seemed to more or less stick to what we know he's good at. So you could see that being a great partnership, especially there's a decent amount of height there. Because our 2 fullbacks are quite small, and we don't have much height in midfield. So we're going to need some tall players in for kind of defensive duties for balls fired into the box or corners or whatever. But you can see those two, they seem to have got almost immediate understanding there. That there was no kind of confusion between the two of them.
Now, Tony Hutton, welcome back to the show. Tony, you're commenting on Twitter, very comfortable performance. It was in the end, wasn't it? Even in the second half where we didn't get any more goals. I think it was comfortable enough. And Barca Boy, who's a regular on a Celtic State of Mind, I'm so glad to be so wrong about Rogic. Thought he was done. Credit to Lenny. Beaton strolled it as well. I mean, this is at this point that we start to get players coming back. Edouard comes back into the side. When Celtic have a full complement of players, Paul, do you think we are going to be looking at not only going for this quadruple treble, but realistically going for all three on all three fronts? It sounds bizarre talking about the Celtic side like that just now on the back of a 4-match run where we didn't win any games, and there was quite a few concerns creeping in at that stage.
Celtic just need continuity, and they also need a bit of luck as well sometimes. I think we've been conceded a lot of goals that have been unlucky this season too. Realistically, when we've got the full capacity of our team and everyone playing to the ability they can, then we know, because over the past 4 years Celtic have pulled off the treble every time, and are always going to be pushing towards finals or the last kick of the ball. Celtic don't give up, because that's not in our nature, and you certainly don't suddenly get a team of winners turning into losers overnight. That doesn't happen. So this Celtic team, they just need that wee bit of belief, they need a wee bit of confidence and that wee bit of luck, and I think that's starting to creep back in. And there'll be times in the season when we'll really get through. We'll get through this patch. We will get through what happened the past few weeks. There's also players who we want to really see in the Celtic jersey too. Turnbull, for instance, players who give us more options at the back that we're coming along with Ayer and also with Julien. So yeah. Once the team's back to full capacity, I think we'll get ourselves back up there.
Now, Lawrence, Tony Hutton's come back on to speak about Laxalt, who he reckons is ahead of his game. The guy is pure class. It was mentioned when we were watching the game, Lawrence, that we've finally found someone that can help us get over Kieran Tierney.
Yeah,
is he that good?
I think so. It is a case of Kieran who? I think he's got that quality. I think Paul's right. He touched on the luck could be changing. There was a couple of times in the second half there the ball was bouncing about our box. Well, the past few weeks that would have fallen at one of their strikers or bounced off one of their centre halves and went in the net. Today the luck did seem to change. It was falling to our players, we were getting it clear. So luck plays a part in everything. So yeah, I think so. But yeah, Diego, yeah, Kieran who.
Kieran who? Now, Colin Watt, who contributes quite regularly to Celtic State of Mind. People will be familiar with Colin coming on the show at least once a week. Massive to get a clean sheet. He needed that for a while. And the man in the sticks was Scott Bain. So, I said before the game, Paul, that you can be disappointed if you're dropped. Barkas hasn't been dropped. He dropped out through injury. And as long as Scott Bain's playing like that, he keeps the jersey, surely.
Yes, I mean, if you're the goalkeeper, you don't tend to get substituted too often, unless there's been an injury. And once you're in goals, it's very hard to go out unless you make a real error. I think I think the players look a bit more confident with being in goals, going in Tuesday's game and also today. Being in some good games, some good saves on Tuesday night, and it wasn't really troubled today. But I think that you want to have two players in goals that you could say could be your number one. And I think it could be an interesting battle between Bain and Barkas over the next few months to see who becomes the established number one. Mm-hmm. But I think a third quality goalkeeper in the January transfer window would really bolster the side as well.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Now, Colin Watt is back on to make a decent point. Beaton, and I know Colin's a big fan of Beaton, Lawrence, but he does make a good point. Beaton offers a calming influence next to Duffy, one of his best performances this season. Now, there's a lot to be kind of read into there, because I do think that when he's playing with Ayer, as good as I think Ayer is, I think Duffy does a lot of the leadership of Ayer when he's playing alongside of him. You can see him, he's in his ear constantly, isn't he, trying to get more of the defensive qualities and the positional play out of Ayer. It's a different proposition playing alongside Beaton, is it not?
Well, Ayer pushes on, and we all love it when he breaks the lines and pushes on and creates stuff, but at times when it doesn't work, Duffy's left kind of a bit isolated there, because Ayer's cut the park. He's not really going to face that as often with Beaton, is he? Beaton's not going to push on as much as Ayer, so it's maybe feeling he's got kind of true defensive partners that's going to do the defensive role, but firstly he's going to be next to him. He doesn't need to talk him through the game, he knows the game. from the defensive viewpoint. So yeah, it could work. But what's a first choice? If everyone's fit, you could even make an argument the first choice is going to be Julian and Ayer. We've got some quality centre halves at the club, and they will come back to fitness. And Lenny's got a nice situation to manage there.
It's a shame. I've just had to block somebody called Paving Direct. I was looking for a bit of crazy paving on my driveway, Lawrence, but I would certainly want to be contacting that young gentleman, or maybe it wasn't a gentleman. So goodbye. I hope you enjoyed the show. Looking at the bigger picture as well, obviously we've got 5 tournaments to play for this season. The squad is going to be vital for us to obviously go for all 5 of them. Europa League's maybe something that is just a dream, but domestically we've got a squad there that could be going for, quite incredibly, 4 trophies this season. We move on to the final against Hearts. Yes, they're a championship club, and they certainly don't have the same quality as us, but what are you expecting to see when we come up against Hearts in December?
Boyce and Naismith up front are, it's going to be a decent partnership. Naismith always tries hard against us, shall we say. Gordon's a keeper that can win you a game, isn't he? You saw the quality of him yesterday. Paul's touched on, is it a keeper in January? Would you be, with Big Fraser, consider coming back with Lenny Swallows pride and ask him in January? I don't know, but yeah, Hearts are going to give us a game. They're a well organised team. They've got a couple of decent forwards. They've got an outstanding goalkeeper for to be in the championship. Craig Gordon's went to them because they're his boyhood club. I'm sure there would have been other offers for Gordon. It wasn't that long ago Chelsea were talking about taking him.
Big money.
Yep.
Big money bid for him. See, the thing with that, Lawrence, I didn't want to labour the fact before our game because I didn't want to take for granted, talking about a final when we weren't in the final. We are there now. I'm much happier with Hearts than I would have been had we been facing Hibs. Yeah,
definitely. I think Hibs, we've seen it in the Premiership, that although we beat them, I thought they gave us our hardest game because we had to play really well to win that game. They're a decent team. Jack Ross, up and coming young manager. Yeah, I'm much happier facing Hearts. I think the big thing, the worry in the day is how well or not Craig Gordon will perform, because we know he is an outstanding keeper. It's going to take something special to beat him if he's on his game. Either that or a penalty, and we know we don't get penalties.
Paul, now we're coming up to the end of the half-hour post-match reaction. I don't know if you've got another song up your sleeve. Do you fancy playing us out?
Oh, jeez, now you're
put you on the spot. Can you ever think about that while I have a look through some of these messages? Obviously, if you're not prepared, that's fine. But sure. People have been talking about your McIlvanney impressions. You could just give us a few impressions if you wanted.
Hey, you want a couple of impressions?
I do believe that former Celtic fan Sean Connolly passed away. Rest in peace, Sean.
Yes, my toughest acting job, keeping a straight face in the Juventus Rangers match.
I've got Henrik Larsson as well.
Oh, give us Henrik.
No, it's the time to take over the Barcelona, the assistant. But if Paul wants to get the boots back on, then we'll think about it. Yeah,
the last one.
Superb. Could you give us a tune as well, Paul?
Oh yeah, tune.
Play us out. Anything you want.
Okay. What about how long we got left?
As long as you want.
Should we'll finish off with a bit of Never Walk Alone?
Oh wow, let's do it.
Should we do that one? Because we do sometimes need to think of these things as we go on. Okay,
let's do it.
When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and the sweet silver song of the lark. Walk on through the wind for your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Walk on, with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone.
Well, after that, all that's left for me to say is Lawrence Connolly and Paul Sheridan, thank you for joining me on A Celtic State of Mind.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Keep the faith.